Mafikeng in the Northwest, we have another one of our TNAs, and we've got our Premier of the Northwest, who is one of the guests that will be joining Palesa. She's hosting it this morning, so let's say good morning to Palesa and throw the program over to them. Good morning to you.
All right, this is a very good morning to Leanne, of course, and a very good morning to our viewers at home. Leanne is right. We're coming to you live this morning from Mmabatho Convention Center, Kiko Mahikeng, but most importantly, as the Premier of the province would say, Ki Bophirima. This morning we're talking the revitalization of the economy of the province, mainly focusing on what they call the villages, of course, and they've got the towns and the small Dorpies. So it's VTSD. This is, of course, the initiative of the Premier. He will elaborate further as to how it will unfold throughout the years. But most importantly at home, please do become part of the conversation. Twitter handle at Morning Live SABC, and we're using hashtag TNA. If you have comments, you have questions that you have to the Premier and the MEC, or you've got any additions to the topic, even if it's subtractions, you're welcome to do that. Fella here, it's only befitting for me to say, Bophirima Dumelang, as we do have a full house this morning here on our TNA Business Breakfast. Dumelang. Thank you very much. There you have it. And let me introduce you to the member of the panel this morning, the Premier of Bophirima, Supra Mahumapelo. Dumela Morning Live.
Dumelos Palesa. Ki dumedise le babugi gotle ko gae le ba ba reditseng.
Thank you so much, Premier. We have the MEC for Finance, Economic Development, as well as the Enterprise Development in Bophirima, MEC Wendy Nelson. Goeiemôre en baie welkom.
Goeiemôre Palesa. En goeiemôre aan almal en ook al ons Suid-Afrikaners vanoggend.
Baie
dankie. Goed om hier te wees.
Baie dankie. Ons is baie bly om hier so te wees. There you have it. Become part of the conversation at Morning Live SABC, hashtag TNA BizBrev. Now, Tonagolo, VTSD. This is your brainchild. This is your baby. Talk to us about the initiative as to how it came about.
I think just before we go there, it will be important for us as the province, as South Africa, to also join the world in giving our condolences to the world in general and the people of Cuba in particular. We all remember that El Comandante, our compañero, Fidel Castro, and the people of Cuba made an immense contribution to the struggle of the people of South Africa. So may his soul rest in peace. And we are happy that our president is there to join the rest of the world on our behalf. As a province, you'll remember that in January, February, when we presented the State of the Province address, we said, Palesa, that the journey that we are going to be traversing is a protracted one. We are implementing the National Development Plan in the context of the RRR, which is rebranding, repositioning, and renewal. But the rebranding, repositioning, and renewal is anchored on what we characterize as the 5 concretes. And those 5 concretes are ACT, which is agriculture, culture, and tourism. VTSD, which we are focusing on today, which is villages, townships, and small Dorpies. RHR, which is reconciliation, healing, and renewal. The 4th one is Sitsokotsane, and the 5th one is Samwerk, Samtrek. Now we thought today we must focus on the villages, the townships, and the small Dorpies, because research is there out and it speaks for itself. If you want poverty, you will find it in our villages. If you want poverty, it's over concentration, you'll find it in the townships. And in the periphery of the small Dorpies, that is where you find our farm workers. They are working under deplorable conditions in those particular areas. So we thought that we must come up with a practical approach which is going to result in concrete expression of the program to radicalize our economy. To make sure that our people in the villages, the townships, they benefit from all the programs of government. To make sure that we have got partners through Samwerk, which is the private sector, and the people of South Africa and the province in particular. Now, we must just inform our people that dealing with the challenges in South Africa that has taken over 340 years, it's not going to be like a bullet coming out of a gun. It's going to be a long process. We are going to face challenges along the way, but the most important thing is to make a start. So today we are making a start, and every year during this time we are going to be converging as a province to say, what progress have we made so far?
All right, and I do know that currently there is a Lekgotla held for the very same topic here where we are, ending on Friday.
Correct. Today we are meeting and inaugurating our Lekgotla on the villages, the townships, and the small dorpies. But it's a culmination of a process which started in March after the Premier had presented the State of the Province address. Because after the State of the Province address, we had to say practically what is it that we do going forward. The first thing, we took a decision in government that 60 to 70% of government spending will have to be directed towards the villages, the townships, and the small dorpies. Because our people in the villages, in the townships, and the small dorpies have not been benefiting from state procurement for the last 22 years. It has been very minimal. We then have to take an aggressive, deliberate step to say how do we bring them on board. That's why we took that decision to say 60 to 70% villages, townships, and small dorpies.
All right, just before we get on to the implementation part of things, let me just bring the MEC here. MEC, if you can just share with our viewers at home and those that are present here, of course, the rollout plan or the rollout phase that your department is tasked to look into.
All right, thanks, Palesa. Yes, there were two phases. The first phase was the setting up of the developmental plans for each village, for each township, and each small dorpie. So this was the first phase where we went out into every village, every township, every small dorpie, and we went to look and see what is happening economically in these VTSD areas. What development is taking place in these areas? What is planned in terms of development for these municipalities? And what type of resources they had, or what the opportunities were. So we've got a blueprint. This is the start of the blueprint for every VTSD area, where we'll be able to say, these are the opportunities in every VTSD area. That being the first phase completed, obviously it's not going to be static. It's going to be reviewed on an annual basis because, things change. The second phase was the establishment of the Chambers of Commerce, the VTSD Chambers of Commerce. This was a whole process. Also, we had people out in every village, every township, every small dorpie, where both the informal as well as the formal sector was brought on board to set up a Chamber of Commerce. This then culminated in your sub-regional or your municipal area would have a Chamber of Commerce, and then your district Chamber of Commerce. So you'd have everyone in one area under one chamber, both informal as well as formal. So this was the process. And this then is the culmination as well, the official launch of the Chambers of Commerce within the province.
All right. Just before we dwell further on these issues, we're quickly taking a break, but do remember to become part of the conversation at Morning Live SABC. That's the Twitter handle we're using, #TNA Business Brief. We're taking a break. Morning Live continues after this.